Life. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, once again, we are back in here with a lot of information, which is going to be the practical information for you. You want to take it as a very serious book note, please log off right now and you can leave, no problem, because we're going to talk about something which is beyond. And today I have a specialist, and the specialist, I wanted to introduce him in a different way. And I say that he is the person, he is not the LIC agent, not the Life Insurance Corporation, but he is something which I call them as LBC, Life Beyond the Corona. So he's the guy who is going to talk about how to live in BC, not before Christ, but beyond the Corona. So with that, let's put hands together for Prashant Sharma. Prashant Sharma has been working vigorously on various profiling, on helping and uplifting people in creating visibility, recognition, and growth. So it's a kind of a tag word you can put in after Prashant's name. So Prashant, welcome very much to the show. I'm so glad that you're here.
Thank you for having me. My pleasure.
Great. So Prashant, is there anything else that I have missed probably for your introductions? Please, I would like you to just fulfill, like, who is Prashant specifically beyond all this?
Thanks, Amit. It's been such a pleasure to interact with you and all those who are listening and viewing this today. It's a pleasure for me, and I'd love to share my life's experiences with you. So in response to Amit, your question, who am I? I'm a serial entrepreneur. My company, First Personality, is my third venture. Me and my partner, my school and my college friend, we started India's first barcoding company. So we were the first people in India to start barcoding just before the internet era. And we went on to do another line of business, which we ran for 12 years. That period of 2008, 2009, we could not survive that because we were in an export-oriented industry. I put all my learnings from my life, my journey into training and development and learning and development. And now what I do is through my coachings and through my trainings, I share my experiences with people. I mentor and coach a lot of young people, people looking for direction, those who are looking for some which way to go in life. A lot of people make choices, a lot of students make choices, a lot of entrepreneurs I mentor and coach. Free, of course, as a business, but pro bono as well. Yeah. And in fact, Amit, very interesting. I shared this example the other day with one entrepreneur who was very worried about COVID and this whole situation right now. And he came to me and said, Prashant, I put so much money in this business and I've come this long journey. I put so much money in the pipeline and this business has just started doing well. And this coronavirus has come and my life is ruined. And he was in a very negative state. So I had read a Buddhist story once, which really stayed with me, and I shared that story with him, which I'd love to share with you and the audience as well today. So there is a Buddhist master and his disciple. They are walking on this path, and they come to a path where the road branches into two. And the disciple asks the master, which road should we take? So the master looks left, looks right, looks left, looks right, and then says, let's go left. Whereas the disciple in his mind would have gone right, but the master has said left. So they set out left and they keep on going left through jungles and through forests and through mountains. And they come to this point where there is just, they can't go any further. They had obviously come the wrong route. And the disciple started shouting at the master, come on, you have wasted our time and you have made me walk for so many months. And look at where you got me. My life is a mess. I don't know what to do. I invested so much faith in you, but you let me down. What am I going to do? So the master just looked at him and said, what we need to do? We need to only go back to the point where the road branched into two. You are thinking that we'll have to go all the way to the start of our journey, but that's not the case. We'll only need to go back to the point where the road branched into two, and then we'll take the right road. Right? So this is a story which I told this entrepreneur who came to me. And so he said, Prashant, I'm beginning to see what you're saying. COVID is that viewpoint, right? I said, exactly. You invested so much time and money and infra and, all that effort into your business, and you reached a point. But the thing is, you don't need to go all the way back again. You only need to take few steps back and ask yourself, now what can I do to take the right road?
Right.
So he thought about it, and it really made a lot of sense to him. And this is what I'd like to tell to tell all the people listening here today as well, and watching this interview as well today, is that do not worry. This too shall pass. We need not, our lives have not got rebooted or reset. We just need to refocus and realign. And I've got a couple of things that I'd love to share with you as well on
Sure,
refocusing
sure,
and
definitely go
realign.
ahead. So
Yeah.
one of the beautiful thing, what you mentioned was, there is only two things. Either you go this way or you go nowhere, or either you adapt.
Yes.
I think that's the third thing. I think a lot of, there was another article which I was reading. It's called as the second great extinction of life. And they said about this kind of things. So being into the science background, I had been trained into, designing all this molecular structures inside genetics, and, putting gene vectors inside bacteria and viruses and all these things.
Okay.
We have done all the shit.
Very
I'm
good.
talking about all these things. In India itself, we have done it.
Sure.
We tried to become the god, and the green apple or the red apple that we're eating, combined with genes of strawberries and pear and so many things, and you've got genetically modified thing. Monsanto is doing all these things. So there is a lot of things happening. But Prashant, I would like to ask you that these adaptations, okay, even recycling is an adaptation.
Perfect.
Okay, and I think this COVID is going to be a big time for a lot of these industries which are coming into recycling. I would like to probably take your ideas, because since you are working with a lot of budding entrepreneurs, when you say budding, it's budding not as a human being, but as a thought process. And I think you are doing something by which the thought process comes something where they are able to action it towards the benefit of the mankind. So it needs a beautiful hand-holding from seasoned professionals like you.
Fantastic.
I would like to ask you this question, is anyone who is right now calling themselves as the COVID coaches or the COVID pioneers, what is that one thing they should look in this beyond Corona lifestyle?
You are saying as a person who's experiencing COVID and Corona right now and wanting to know what is on the other side?
Anyone, whoever has thought of, or
Okay.
whoever has already started, whoever has started but couldn't scale up, whoever started but scaled up, but now he's willing to look and to divert into something else because he's able to continue. There will be multiple. I could only find 4 or 5 different ways,
Sure.
but I give it to you how you want to articulate that.
Sure. That's a great question, Amit. So, do you know who, and this is something I'd like to ask everybody, do you know who Divyansh Panwar is? Not many of us know who Divyansh Panwar is. Do we know who Amit Dubey is? Not many of us know who these two people are, but I'm going to quickly tell you about them. Divyansh Panwar is a 17-year-old teenager, 17-year-old teenager, lives in Faridabad, very close to Delhi. He's the world 10 meters air rifle champion. He's a world champion, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's an Indian boy, preparing for the Olympics, working day and night, has not studied much because all his education time, everything went in just shooting practice. That's all he knows. That boy doesn't know anything else, right? So he has no future beyond shooting because he doesn't know anything else beyond shooting. So you can imagine the state of mind of this child. At 17, he's a child, right? So when he hears that the Olympics have been cancelled, they've been postponed, when he hears that there's nothing going to be, no sporting events are going to be happening this year, he's very dejected, very depressed. Right. And Corona has really affected him mentally, right? So I would like to, entrepreneurs, executives who are worried about their jobs, students who are just graduating right now in the graduating class of 2020, who are wondering whether companies will honor your joining letters. And, I would like all of us to go into the mind of Divyansh Panwar and identify with him. So this is where we are at right now. Amit Dubey is Divyansh Panwar's coach, the 42-year-old coach. He works in the Sports Authority of India. He's a full-time coach with Divyansh Panwar, lives in the same housing society as Divyansh. They live in this, this typical 2 BHK DDA kind of a society. He sees his ward very dejected, very depressed, and he's worried because shooting is all about state of mind, right? He goes to Divyansh and says, "Don't worry, we'll find a way." So Divyansh says, "Sir, what can we do? We cannot go out. Nobody's letting me go out and play badminton also because nobody, obviously there's lockdown." Amit says, "Come, we'll make a shooting range. Ghar mein banate hain." Ghar mein? How do you make a shooting range? You need 10 meters. So 10 meters, to put it in perspective, is about half the size of a cricket pitch. It's about 30 plus feet, right? How do you create a 30-piece shooting straight line inside a house? Damn difficult. It's not just that. You also need two pieces of equipment. One is called SCAT and one is called ETS, which are electronic systems which trigger the scoring. So they're not able to find obviously that 10 meter space in Divyansh's apartment. Amit Dubey goes to his house, takes him to his house. From once, Amit, it's amazing. From one end of Amit's bedroom through the hall, through the drawing room, to the other end of the second bedroom in the house, 2 bedrooms, they are able to find a straight line. This is happening even as we speak. They measure it, they find 10 meters of a straight line, and they create that, that shooting space, but they still need that equipment, right? So he goes on a scooter, Amit goes on a scooter, finds that equipment, comes back. Now they need lighting because that equipment gets triggered with lighting. Now in a flat, you have one tube light here and one tube light there, right? I want everybody looking at this video, look around your rooms. You'll find 1 or 2 or 3 lights, right? Amit Dubey takes a hammer, Divyansh takes a hammer, breaks down every socket in that house, puts all the lighting in that room. Now they have to create wiring. In the lockdown, there are no shops open, but they did it, Amit. That's the magic. Last week, an online shooting competition was held on Zoom, where 40 of the world's top 10-meter air rifle shooters, doing this, participated. Guess what rank Divyansh got? He came 4th. Shooting inside his house. Now, let me ask everybody here, and this is something which I want all of us to introspect. Is this Divyansh's victory, or is this also Amit Dubey's victory? Is it also the dedication of the coach, or is it also the dedication of the coachee?
It's both.
It's both. Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic, right? So it's a partnership. What I would like to tell people in this times of COVID is that there are 2 things, right? You have your will, and we have heard about skill, right? Muhammad Ali always used to say, the famous boxer, when somebody hits me in the boxing ring, when that glove comes and makes contact with my cheek and I fall down, that is an absence of my skill. My skill has let me down, right? My opponent is more skillful than me. Now here I am sitting on the ground and the referee is counting 1, 2, 3. He's counting up to 10, right? And I'm just, I'm trying to get up. There my opponent has no role to play, right? What is it going to take for me to get up from the mat and shake everything off and start fighting again? It is my will.
Okay.
So skill and will need to meet. If Divyansh Panwar and Amit Dubey can create a state-of-the-art shooting range inside their DDA, inside their house, you and I are educated. We have got the tools. We have got people around us to mentor us. It's just a question of not panicking, of upskilling yourself. There are so many free online resources out there. I mean, there are 2 things which I'd like to leave everybody with. I'll share that with you as well. But the thing is not to panic and to think that there are people out there right now, even as we speak, doing something about it rather than worry.
Right. Absolutely. I think that's a profound way and a profound, you are definitely an amazing storyteller. And I must tell you that these are certain things which goes beyond the things, because typically the way you articulate, you can show people that there is a brighter side, but the brighter side needs you to light up either yourself or light up somebody's self, so that at least the light is there which can guide you to the brighter side.
Fantastic. Absolutely.
And this brings me to another thing is, you told about the will and you told about the skill, but I think I would like to know the plus sign between that bond to go beyond. Okay, would you like to talk about that? Because right now we see there are a lot of people who are into this training and knowledge share industry and all these things. My question is, how or to what extent you can go, not only to make the people who are following you, loving you, making yourself as the fans, or probably this, I mean, there are chances that right now there are a lot of people who are right now calling themselves as the celebrity coaches and the celebrityness. I think the celebration is only when the people under you are following your inspirations and then creating the milestone.
True that. Absolutely.
My question to you, Prashant, is the bond to beyond. What would that take for the coach What would that take for the person to follow? It's like, I'm sorry, I'm taking one more minute here. It's like, I have a problem and I go to one doctor, and right now this is what is happening is people are grabbing different courses wherever it is free, wherever it is, lucrative for them. So definitely you need to become the Arjuna, or you need to become the Drona. There has to be the born to beyond. Over to you, Chief.
Fantastic. I love what you said, Born to Beyond. I think it's such a lovely way of articulating this relationship between the coach and the coachee. And that relationship, I mean, it's there in our scriptures, it's there in mythology, it's there in management and leadership, the importance of a coach. But here's the thing. What I feel where coaches can really add value, and where I add value to my clients and to people who come to me, is many people come to me and says, Prashant, I'm very interested in data science. Now with this COVID lockdown and all, do you think I should do a course in data science? I'm very interested in entrepreneurship. Do you think I should do this Udemy course? I'm very interested in retail. So this COVID, after this COVID ends, people are going to be buying a lot. Should I open a shop? I hear this word, Amit, I hear this word interest a lot. People are interested in many things. Right? So when I hear this word interest, I hear this word, and usually I ask a counter question to the people who are asking this question. This is what I ask them. You are interested in data science. You are interested in that course. You are interested in pursuing a different line of activity. I understand that, right? What are you doing about it? Where is your commitment? No, I'm very committed to it. So I always say there is a difference between being interested in something, and being committed to something. You can be interested in many things. Just because I'm interested in something, I can read about it. I can, look, and I can do courses on it. I can talk about it. I can meet people I can attend conclaves, webinars. But that is only my interest, because those are simply words. Right. When I actually convert those words into action, I actually do something about it, right? So I tell you, Amit, that I'm committed to data science once this lockdown gets over. In fact, I'm not going to wait for lockdown to get over. I'm going to start working on data science right now. And henceforth, I'm going to be known as the king of data science, or the queen of data science.
Absolutely.
That is commitment. Because now you have committed to something. Whatever happens from today onwards, Amit, is my duty as a coach to take you towards data science. And it is your duty as a coachee now to do whatever it takes to reach that destination. Right? So we are on this journey together. Otherwise, it's all talk.
Otherwise, add a point to what Prashant is talking about. I feel every interest is a copy. You can't have an interest unless and until you have seen that thing, heard of that thing, or you have experienced some taste or teaser of it. Make sense?
True that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And as a marketeer, I've been doing this, probably you can say sense to nonsense, or nonsense to sense, and helping people to create that distraction by which they call it as interest and attention. The new currency word. It is no longer a new currency unless and until you know that the interest is a momentarily a stable stage called as the happiness. It's a temporary thing. Once you reach that, you don't need it. So if you want to buy a Mercedes, or you want to buy something else, once you get that, over, then what? So I want to go back to the topic of born to beyond. Is that I want Prashant, your help also. Is interest is something that it is right now the power of the knowledge sharing entities and the individuals they need to create. But I feel the interest has to be something connected to not what they want, but what you think they need.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Right. But the problem is the need has to be quantified in a way so that they should be, when I say they, I'm talking about these budding artists, these entrepreneurs, or whoever is the sportsman, or anyone who is struggling right now to be that version 2.0. Every time when I was in school, the best subject is not because of the subject, but because of someone articulated and interpreted the subject in the best manner what I could understand.
True that.
So over to you, Prashant, because you have been training the trainers now. What would your advice to those people? I'm not talking about those people who are actually into the business, but all the mom and all the dads of the house, all the grandfathers and the senior guys in the house, they are also doing the same thing, right? So how do you convert the interest in such a way that you understand what they want is not equal to what they need?
True, absolutely. Fantastic. I'm reminded when I was just starting my training career, I attended a workshop by this very known trainer. And there were people from all vocations there, aspiring trainers, aspiring coaches. All of us were young and looking at this guy, this guru. And he wasn't really making that much of an impact because he wasn't a very good speaker. I still remember that. So we are here, we are looking at him, and I'm just wondering whether, if this is a person who's really such a known figure in learning and development, then this is going to be the easiest thing for me to do because I'm better than him. Because there was, till that time, there was no value addition in that whole workshop. Now comes the interesting part. Now he was saying something. All of a sudden he stopped. And he said that, I have told you a lot of theory on learning and development today. So where we were all sitting, so we are in this auditorium, he's there in front of us. And on to everybody's right, there was this one large window. It was like an opening sort of a thing where we could see outside. Okay. And outside was this grounds and lush green, not a forest, but it was a very, leafy patch. It was like a garden, well-tended garden, a lot of trees, green. Birds, butterflies, lovely spring day. He just turned to the window and he said, I want everybody to look out. And some of you, how many of you are from accounts? How many of you from finance? How many of you are entrepreneurs? How many of you are engineers? How many of you are, everybody raised their hands. He's saying, I want you to look outside and I want you to find your subject there. That's it. And we are going to have this Q&A where I'm going to ask each one of you in this auditorium, have you been able to find your subject outside? So we looked outside, all I could see were trees and plants and, coming from an entrepreneurial background. So my turn came and he said, what did you see outside? So I said, I saw trees and I saw, what else is there? I said, there's a lot of empty patch and everything. He's saying, what is there on the tree? He's saying, fruit tree. Which tree is that? Mango tree. How much are mangoes sold in the market for? 200 rupees a kg. He's saying one tree is giving you almost this farmer whose tree is that, giving him 1 lakh rupees there. There is this empty patch outside. How many trees can you plant on an empty patch? You as an entrepreneur should be looking at that empty patch and thinking there should be more trees on that empty patch. And you won't believe it. He went to the next person. What do you do? So he said, I'm a historian. So find your subject there. How old is that tree? If you had to teach history today in Harvard, what could you say about that tree? And, that was such a fantastic lesson, Amit, that day in applied knowledge. So you asked me about the coach's role in creating interest. And this is where we as coaches come in, is that when somebody comes to us and says that, listen, I'm interested in this, I want to do this, it is our job to move beyond the books and the theory and that, that's available everywhere. But to actually show them practical applications of their subject so they know how they can make a difference to somebody's life doing what they do well.
Absolutely. I agree with you.
As an entrepreneur, if I'm going to be coaching other business coaches, how will I communicate the importance of entrepreneurship to them if I cannot see entrepreneurial opportunities myself?
Right.
So that I thought I would share that with you. So to answer your question, I think we need to go beyond theory and to create that applied interest in people.
Amazing. I know that was the kind of a missing element when you said, the will and the skill. And I came out with that gap called as born to beyond. And I think right now you can fill it up with what Prashant rightly gave with this amazing story. And it's called as the applied knowledge or the applied interest, applied knowledge towards the interest, or whatever you want to put it across. So with that, probably, Prashant, this brings me to a very interesting point where there are a lot of people, even for today morning also, as I'm doing this interview, we just finished that first part of it. They have a lot of information. They know some of the terrific things in the world, probably, I think if you can combine, it's like combined information of a couple of nations put together is that one gentleman. But still, he is not able to take a step. And I remember, in one of those your points, you are talking about um, personality assessment and tests and all those things that you personally do. Now his idea is, Amit, I know everything, but I need a team. But I do not know whom to trust. I cannot see him right now in front of me. I cannot touch him because I do not get to analyze his according to his body gestures, his mind flow. I am locked in. People are locked in. I am not used to this virtual and remote way of working.
True that.
This is something which left me clueless because there is no one who talks about that. How can you hire somebody? Because now there is a lot of hiring and firing going on, guys. So if you are watching this and if you are a part of or victimized into this, or if you are trying to make people victim, it is not your part. I know this situation is like that. Right now, there is a next level of digital trust, and there is no one better than probably someone who has designed the barcode system at the first and the initial. So I'm just connecting all the back to the dots here. How do you barcode people?
Yeah.
So that I can get an exact inventory quantified.
Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. There is this book written by Malcolm Gladwell, right? So he's the guy who wrote The Tipping Point. That's one of his most famous books. He wrote a follow-up book to that. It's called Blink.
Sorry?
I would Blink, B-L-I-N-K, Blink, right? It's one of the best books that I have ever read on the subject of gut feeling.
Okay.
Right? How to use intuition and gut feeling, right? So very well researched, awesome book. It's just this much thin, and Blink is the go-to book. Now, the reason I'm mentioning that is that in a digital situation, in how do you trust somebody? How do you create that? How do you barcode trust? Right? So that was your question. Awesome. One of the learnings that from Gladwell's book is, if a decision that you need to make is a very crucial decision, it's a decision that can alter, has meaning, a lot of meaning to your life, very deep decision, could be anything, could be investment decision, whether to marry somebody, just it's a very subjective thing. Deep decisions, go with your gut feeling, go with your first instinct. The routine decisions, the decisions that you feel that you can spend some time, those are the ones that you can spend some time on, but which is sort of counterintuitive, because we would think that crucial decisions are the decisions that we should actually take more time on. So my learning from that, and this learning which I'm sharing with you all as well, is how do you trust somebody, right? A lot of it digitally also is gut feeling. And that's where you need to listen to your intuition. How to develop intuition would be the subject of another discussion with you on another day.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the next paid session of learning gut feeling to hire is here.
In fact, the power of your subconscious mind is a very popular workshop and a coaching with me, and I get a lot of business from that. But we leave that for another time. Trusting somebody digitally, friends, look, develop your intuition, go with your gut feeling. It's usually would be right.
Okay, I'll put the business side here just to make this serious thing little bit of fun flow, because I know you guys are all logged in, and when you're watching this, you need a little bit piece of masala into it. So the masala is anything and everything on this planet. If it is a great passion, but you are not able to monetize the profit out of it, then the passion changes into a poison, right? And this is the one good thing. What came out right now is, a series of intuitions is a belief or a doubt.
True that.
Both can happen, right? I mean, I'm not a philosophy guy, so I'll put the business perspective here. I had been trained, and I've been training, and I'm implementing those things that digitally I can make people believe in me and doubt my competition. Make sense? It's very powerful. This is what I have been doing it. So many people who doesn't know from my LinkedIn profile, what I do is, this is one thing I do. I can help you to grow whatever condition, whatever stage, whatever phase you are. It is not about me, but I think the more understanding that I have is all about the outside thing, how people take your product and services. So when you are right now talking about digital trust, the barcode has to be something what Prashant rightly said is the gut feeling. But again, there are a lot of areas I can make people to do the delusion and the illusion through this digital world. Right now, you are looking at me, but there is an illusion behind me. Now you know that. You have not seen it probably so far, but now you know it. I'm not sitting in Dubai. I'm sitting at my home. Yeah. And I'm trying to fake it because might be the background is not good. So faking is not something which is always bad, but faking is also something that I want to be seen and portrayed in this way. So right now, there is hardly anyone who can talk about the digital way of making people to believe in you so that the barcode is always with you. So Prashant, I would take 1 more minute of yours to ask anyone, like, great, I can get the gut feeling fine, but there has to be a digital hygiene, how you respond, how you are punctual and how you are responding to it. Would you like to share your thoughts? Because I see
Sure,
that
sure.
you have been an expert on skills on
On online coaching, online group coaching. In fact, I'm doing a lot of group coachings now. Traditionally 8-hour sessions that we used to do in-house face to face. In fact, in the next couple of days for a top insurance company, I'm doing this 8-hour session on business storytelling, and it's going to be done virtually. So all the activities, everything has been designed virtually. People are going to be coming back to me on WhatsApp and things like that. So it's all done. And so these kind of workshops have been very successful. So the transition from online to digital and digital hygiene is something, even, I wrote in my book as well, a couple of years book, my book that came out. Now, just to answer your question, I think online is here to stay. All of us need to need to get familiar and comfortable with online, whether it is training, whether it is meeting, whether it is face-to-face. Everything from job interviews to exit interviews is mostly going to be done online as well. I think it's a reality, like how COVID is a reality. Let us embrace it. Camera presence, like all other skills, is a skill that is acquired by practice. I do a lot of coaching on that, and I would love to help you. And we're all there to support you as well. Reach out to me on LinkedIn and otherwise as well. The tools are all there. They're all there for us to use. Many of the tools are free. There is no money to be spent. It's just a question of getting comfortable with the system. And the more we share, the more our ecosystem shines up. So I think all of us, the role that we are playing is we are just diyas, we are lights, and we are lighting up our surroundings. The money which is that we are making as professionals is it's flowing from the service that we are providing. There is no charity here. On the other hand, we are doing a very responsible job. For those who want to get into training, learning, and development, there is no right or wrong time. If you have something to say, embrace digital, embrace online, and the potential is endless. We are all there to support you.
Amazing. I think we have almost gone beyond the traditional timing that I usually keep. And always people try to say, Amit, keep it crisp and keep it short. But unfortunately, my dear friend, when you pause, that's the only time you can observe. And when you observe, that's the time it gives you to think. And when you think, then you get the right direction. The Y Combinator thing that Mr. Prashant was talking about, you get back to the same point, at least in your thinking. Might be not on the real perspective, but you come back there. And now you decide you want to go straight, you want to go back, you want to take a deflection, or you want to just pause and hibernate on that. It's up to you. So with that, I would like to thank Prashant. It was a fabulous interview session. I will not say interview because this is more of a discussion. You also know that we don't have any scripts.
Absolutely. It was lovely. Thank you, Amit, for giving me this opportunity. And I'd love to share more.
So viewers, if you are watching this and if you need to connect with Prashant's link will be somewhere down there. He'll be tagged definitely. And if you have any kind of questions, I'm sure, we both of us would love to, reply to those kind of questions which is coming in. And with that, as I said, let us know what kind of new topics or new things that you want me to probably find out. If you need me to, right now, as I said, I'm more keen to connect with Prashant to help me. If I can get back to Mr. Amit Dubey and Divyansh, probably that will be a fantastic session where I can have all three of you together. Somebody is giving such kind of a huge real time, because I strongly believe is every motivation comes from somebody's action. So with that, stay actionable today. Observe, think, and go beyond. And this is how I think, let's connect to Prashant's, what he's talking about is life beyond. So with that, let's go back from AD to BC, and now we are going beyond Corona. Bye-bye, take care and stay blessed, and I'll meet you in the next session.
Excellent, everybody. Stay safe and all the best to you.